Okay, welcome everyone to Global Sports Complete Football. We're here to talk about Spain today. We're not going to talk about England. We all know what England is, and if they win, it's going to be by luck. So we're here to talk about Spain, and we also want to say thank you very much to our fans from Nigeria, from Ghana, from UK, and from the US who've been watching our show. We represent Black voices, but we represent the world because we're not Black, we're human. Thank you very much. How's everything in Puerto Court, Rarif? Yeah.
Port is fine.
Yeah, thank you very much. How is everything in Abuja? I'm assuming you're in Abuja, building. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back in Abuja. Abuja is great.
Okay, so let's start to it. There's not much to say about England, but I think anybody can win the finals. But today we want to talk especially about how I haven't seen a team like Spain, which is this tactical, and they're so well drilled, and they do everything well. And strangely enough, they have several leaders. We know that Rodri is probably the anchor of that team, but and this guy is the inspiration, Williams. But one of the true leaders at the age of 16, who I think has one of the highest IQs I've seen in football, is Yamal.
Yamal.
What are your thoughts on Yamal, Warif? Then we'll go to Biodun. Yeah.
That guy, I'll just say he's an all-round player.
Yes,
and he's very
right.
fast.
Yeah.
He can drift into the midfield. If you touch him, you get what you're looking for. So I think he's the next generation of players coming up. And he has about, like, I'm talking with somebody, has about maybe up to 25 years more to play or so, or 20 years.
Yeah, they should but also he's physically strong, so I don't think you have to worry about injuries. But what I want to say one thing, wherever the ball is, he's there. If the ball is in defense, if it's in the midfield, he's there. He has a very high work rate. Almost as, who is it? I think it was out of Xavi and Iniesta. I think it was Xavi who had a high work rate all over the pitch. He's the same. What are your thoughts, Abirdo? Yeah.
Yeah, I think looking at Jamal, Lamal is a wonderful talent. I think one of the credits he doesn't really get is what he does defensively and what he does off the ball. And looking at that last game they played against the French, he did a lot of work without the ball in terms of providing support for the fullback, which was Jesus Navas, who had not played in the tournament throughout and was deputizing for.
Because Carvajal went out. Carvajal was out, right? Yeah.
So he did quite a lot off the ball, and when he actually had the ball, he did very simple but unique things, and that individual brilliant goal that he scored was phenomenal. At 16 years of age, so many football players are saying at that age they were not even able to do what this kid is doing at this age. So we know we expect great things from him.
Yeah. And it's clear he's the same as Williams. When he takes a shot, you can tell that he's not off the cuff. He's doing something that he practiced 1,000 times in practice. So he's just executing. That's all he's doing. He's just executing. What are your thoughts about that? Yeah,
I think you're right. I think players tend to execute what they've practiced. You don't just go to the field and just try something that you've not done before. And that the goal he scored against the French was also the same kind of goal he scored against France in the Under-19 European Championship. Similar, very similar kind of goal, the same technique from the right hand side, cutting and curl the ball to the final side. So that is something that he has been building his game around, and you can see the quality there. He was not surprised that.
And there's something which was very surprising. He had more takeaways or more won balls than Koundé for France. We're not talking bad about Koundé. That just shows you how much work. You're playing on the right wing as an attacking position, and you're supporting in midfield, and you still have time to win more balls than Koundé. And Koundé played brilliantly. We don't want to talk bad about France's defense. They played brilliantly. But I think it was the genius of those two goals, Olmo and Yamal. That's just genius. There's nothing France can do about it. And William, what are your thoughts, Warif? Yeah.
You see, those three players, Olmo, Williams, and Yamal, it will be very difficult for any team to pin them down because these guys, they are still young and they are energetic, they are fast.
Sorry, can I add one more thing before you continue? One more thing. Okay. Also, because Pedri is so troublesome, it opened up a little bit for the three of them also. But continue. Sorry, I just have to add that. Yeah. No, not Pedri, Rodri. Because Rodri is so troublesome. They have to double team him, and it also gives openings. That's why that team is so good, because it's a complete team, especially with Cucurella in the defense. But continue. Sorry, I didn't cut in front of you. Sorry. Okay.
No problem. So those three guys, I call them the three musketeers. They will give any coach a sleepless night. And the more you're thinking of marking them out, you're creating space for others to drift in, to make their chances or to score.
Yes.
So I just pray that, and you know what, funny, I was even thinking that they were all in Barcelona. If those three guys are in a particular team, that means the coach and the opponent, they have lots of work to do. Because sometimes if you put them together, if they're not careful, they might tend to want to like be the hero, because right, they're still young. Like somebody was comparing and talking about Neymar. I said Neymar did not use his senses very well.
No, and Neymar is not ambidextrous either. But go on, yeah.
But this Yamal, you see, the guy knows what he got, what he has, so he's using it very well. He's, like I always say, he's fast, energetic. He has it in his head. He knows what to do. Like the goal he scored against, was it in France? It was not a shot, just.
And you know what? I saw Yamal. I saw Yamal directing the players on what to do when they were in defense. That's intelligence. That is intelligence. Sorry, we're going to get back to what are your thoughts of building about that? Yeah. About Yamal's intelligence very intelligent.
Yeah, for a 16-year-old to break into the Barcelona team and not knowing how technical the Barcelona team play, how tactical they play, how disciplined they play, how they move with and without the ball. For a 16-year-old to break into the team, that tells you how highly intelligent that kid is. And also break into the Spain national team and break into the first 11 again. That tells you how smart the kid is, and his talent is on another level. Yeah.
Now I want to say something. So we're going to go to you, Warif. Rodri still had more passes than anybody, but less than he usually has, because they were double teaming him. But it doesn't matter, because guys like Olmo and especially Yamal, we all know Williams is a pure left winger. He can't do anything else. But those guys stepped up. And also Cucurella, I think he's their right back. Right, he's their left back. He was also able to come into midfield, and also at times Yamal dropped deep and took Rodri's position. So it just shows you how flexible the team is. What do you think, Warif? Yeah.
Sometimes I also give credit to the coach, because it's not just about
it has to be the coach.
Player.
Yeah.
Because if you don't study the kind of players that you have, you just have them just like a workman that has the tools, but you don't know how to use them. So the coach already knows the kind of player they are, how they can play. And I just pray that there will be no injuries for these guys in their club side.
And have you noticed that since they started playing Germany, people have been fouling them because they know they're not strong physically, but it hasn't worked. Yeah. Now I want to go to another play. Biodun and Warif, they switched defenders on Yamal on the right, but he was smart enough to know that the guy who's in the middle won't switch again when he goes to the middle. And he went into the middle and faked the guy and did a cross dribble and score, because he knew the other guy wouldn't follow him. You know what I'm talking about, Biodun? Yeah. That was pure tactics. Yeah,
that is off the ball movement, pure tactics, and drifting away from your position. And that is one issue defenders have, because they have been instructed to stay with this man. And once the person move out of position, you don't know whether to go with him or another player will cover him.
And that goes to what Warif said. That's what Warif was saying, that Spanish coach knew that. So it's like chess. He knew that they won't commit to that, which means that Spain outsmarted France. And France had a good plan, because they took this guy out of the game, Williams. We're not blaming Williams, but they took him out. But they didn't realize that Yamal can switch what he does, and he knows you won't follow. But also he had the skill to score that goal, which was, to be honest with you, that was a 20% chance to score that goal, and he scored it.
I would like to hear Falabi's thoughts on what the conversation
is. Falabi here? Falabi here?
Yeah, Falabi is here.
Oh yeah, Falabi, talk. Man, you're good, Beaton, because you read what happens on who's in the meetings. I don't look at that. Falabi, what's up? Give us your views. Yeah,
sincere apologies. My Zoom app was updating, so it took time for
Sorry, I'm just kidding you. I thought it was rain. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't rain. It's not raining. So basically, like you rightly mentioned when we discussed this thing. The tactical awareness of players as young as Jamal. You know, France did something when they played against Spain. They double team on their wingers. So Nico Williams could not really play as effectively as he would. So what Jamal did was to move to the central areas and create space for the likes of Morata to attack the space. So one thing you don't really see in young players like Jamal was his tactical awareness, spatial awareness, displaying knowledge of tactical knowledge at that young age, ability to shift to the center when the wing was, occupied by two. In basketball, when you double team someone, it's like
You're about to say, I was going to say basketball, and then pick or either pick a role or the forward switches his position. And
exactly.
But what France should have done is to have their players switch defenders, switch the defender switch and follow the guy. Continue. Yeah.
Exactly. So Jamal moved to the center, and also Rodri was also being tightly marked. By the time he moved to the center, the focus was not on Rodri anymore. Focus was now on Jamal. So it was like a decoy, making it easier for Rodri to get away from his markers.
But you know what makes it amazing though? Yeah. He was doing that during the attack, but at the same time, when there's transitions, he's on the other side of the pitch also. The kid I call it magic, because how do you do that? He must have run 12 kilometers during that game. I'm serious. I'm not joking. Continue. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And despite a very low possession rate and some physical challenges, Spain excels in ball recoveries and a lot of high pressing, often winning the ball back through intense running and pressing.
Yeah, I always say that.
I marvel at how the coach is able to, such a young team, to train them to have loads of energy.
Well, here's what I believe. Here's what I believe, and maybe Bierno can answer this for me. I believe that in Spain, like what Germany used to do, they have a national program in which they're teaching these skills at every level so that players know how to do it. That's the only explanation I can think of. What do you think, Bierno?
Yeah, I think you're right. And in addition, the current Spanish coach, Luis de la Fuente, had coached the Spanish under 17, under 19, under 23, before coming to the senior team. So if some of these players, he has worked with them at quite a young age. And you could see that they have a structure and they have a system that they know how they want to play, how they want the country national team to play. Spain, Germany, France, there's a system.
Germany used to do that when this guy Klinsmann was their coach.
Yeah,
they had a
and
national
the Netherlands too used to do that.
They used to do it.
How they play. The Europeans generally tend to have that style, but in Africa, anywhere Belefi is today, Betty Vooks, tomorrow, Jose Pizarro, next tomorrow, Ladamboso, no pattern, no direction, no system. And if you look at Morocco, that's what the kingdom of Morocco is trying to do with Moroccan football. And if you see, that's how they are beginning to
work.
In the
South Africa's doing it a little bit with their Belgian coach.
Yeah.
So I want to also talk about I also want to talk about a tactic that Spain used. When they were leading, they knew that these guys were going to keep pressing France, putting pressure. So they kept Williams as long as they could. Williams was drowning, but they kept him as long as they could so that they don't sit back and they keep going forward. Then at the last minute, they took Williams and Yamal out. And I think that's how you play football. You don't try to protect the lead. You still try to keep pushing forward. Because they kept Williams a little bit longer than they should, but they needed to do that because if they took him out, then you won't have Williams on the left, and that's going to it means you can now double team Yamal or triple team Yamal. What do you think, Biodun?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they had to leave those white players a little longer than they normally do in previous games in the tournament. They knew the threat they possessed, and the French, I think, were scared. They were so scared that they had to double team both players, and it cost them the game. I think Didier Deschamps got it so wrong. I think Ousmane Dembele has been so poor in the tournament and making it.
I personally think they should have brought in Thuram and put
was there. Kingsley Coman is more of a threat.
And bring in Camavinga in the first half. And bring in Griezmann.
And we're keeping Dembele. Dembele cannot shoot. All he does is just do nonsense.
To me, bring in Griezmann and Giroud and Griezmann, Giroud.
And he played a three more like defensive midfielder. You play Kante, Tchouaméni, and Rabiot. No attacking sense. His attack was just
No.
reliant on the flanks, on
Yeah.
Mbappe and
Maybe one of
and they were
the
just
midfield.
useless.
Yeah.
But look
And
at Spain.
what are your thoughts?
They had
while
Olmo
we,
in the
oh,
middle. They had this Yamal and Williams on the wing. So even if the wings were not working, they had people in the midfield. But France didn't have anybody in the midfield
yeah.
because they
And
were
I think
scared
they
of
should have brought
Yamal.
in Camavinga in the first half, and Giroud and Griezmann and Thuram.
I just
And
played Griezmann behind the striker and played two sitting
as a
midfielders.
supportive, yeah. They didn't use Griezmann properly because I keep saying this. Up until the finals of the last World Cup, Griezmann was the best player on the French team. And then they changed their formation and he just disappeared. And then Mbappe wasn't doing well through that whole tournament, but he scored 3 goals. So he
I
felt
don't know
happy
what
with
they're doing.
himself. Yeah.
They should sack
Also,
Didier Deschamps. They should sack that man.
yeah,
He's old
it's time for him. I think they're going to bring in Zidane next. Okay, let's talk about. So, what are your thoughts, Warif? Then we're going to talk about what's his name, Mbappe. I think something's wrong with him. It's not just his nose. He's not in shape. He's not in shape. Yeah, yeah.
You see, the challenge with the French national team, they were using their physical strength without being flexible. They were rigid. And they didn't take their chances. You know, I think towards the end of the match, there was this chance that Mbappe had. He would have equalized that ball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he missed. That would, for Mbappe, that's an 80% shot. Yeah.
I was so disappointed in him. If Yamal or Williams had that kind of chance, they'll bury it.
Yeah.
So the French, they need to start grooming new players because very soon these players will fade off.
Yeah, you're right. And can I say one thing? I think that Mbappe should have left France 2 years ago because I think he's beginning to lose skills. He's not playing in Europe, and that's one big problem. What do you think, Falabi? Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't know what the problem seems to be, but he needs to change his mentality and his psyche. I think the move to Real Madrid is affecting him psychologically. He has to rebrand himself. You are coming from the French league and you are going to the Spanish league. Forget the fact that you are back. You have to rebrand yourself and become more selfless. You know, you are now in Spain. You are in a team that has a lot of talent, especially the likes of Vinicius Junior. So he has to learn to be more selfless. You know, it's the scepter of the fact that Amani Mbappe is hanging over his head.
Hold on, Biodun, are you okay, Biodun? I saw your hands up. Are you okay?
Yeah. I just wanted to say I'll contribute once I follow this.
Okay, afterwards it'll be Biodun after. See, I'm paying attention now. Continue, Falabi. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying particularly is that he needs to buckle down and realize that he's no more the golden boy he used to be. Still very talented, but he needs to reinvent himself.
And he needs to go back to fundamentals. Fundamentals.
Exactly, fundamentals.
And study. Like, for example, we do our shows. We have to study. Even though we're smart and talented, sometimes you go back to fundamentals and build yourself back up from the ground. Unless you're like Harry Kane, who eat too much eba now.
All right, he hasn't had a good tournament at all.
Yeah.
Tournament has not been good for him.
Yeah, thank you guys. So Biodun next. Thank you very much, Afalabi.
Yeah, just to add, I think for Mbappe, I think it's a season thing. If you look at the season, it's
too long.
In and out, up and on with the PSG team. The coach does not play him this week. He plays him next week. The substitute team. You know that season where that consistency is not there. You could see that played a part for.
So he's not warmed up. He's not primed. He's not primed.
He's not fully in sync and fully in full gear. Look at the performance of the season. An average Mbappe gets you a whole lot of goals in the season, but this last
don't worry,
season,
Grandpa Ancelotti will solve that problem. I believe that.
And likewise, also if you look at the kind of players France went to the tournament with, Mbappe operates best when he has space. Once you feed him the ball in space, let him attack the space. That is where you see the best of Mbappe. If you watch the last World Cup, that's how he got most of.
That's what I was going to say. You stole my view. And Thuram and all those guys open space for him.
Yeah, and the midfielder that usually sees those spaces and pass that ball has been banned for Pogba.
You know, Beardo, I don't know if you play chess, but I think Mbappe is like the queen. He can move anywhere on the pitch, but he needs bishops and knights to open up for him. That Mbappe, he's supposed to be a free player, and most of his shots are diagonal. Yeah, and he has a very good right foot.
And what killed him was that they were just giving him ball to feet. and
isolating him on the left.
Isolating him. He operates better in the space. Just give him that killer pass. Let him chase. He has the pace. He has the speed. He will outrun anybody and get to the ball first.
But can I add one thing?
Nobody could give him the pass.
And maybe Bidion, you agree with me. I wanted to say though, if not for Yamal, he would have had more space. Yamal did a good job of clogging the left wing. He clogged the left wing. Yamal was great. Yeah. So let's end with this. Let's talk about Cucurella.
I think just to add this before you conclude, I think France really missed Pogba in the tournament.
Pogba.
Pogba and also had, no other person had it.
Yeah, no, Pogba was sort of like almost like an attacking midfielder and a central midfielder and a defensive midfielder at the same time. And along with Kante, it's devastating when you have those two with him. But also, they're also missing creative player. They don't have Zidane and they don't have Benzema. And those guys were creative forward. So let's talk very quickly about Cucurella. Very good player. Short, he can't stop you from headers. Also everywhere on the pitch. What are your thoughts about Cucurella, Falabi? Then we'll go to Warif, then to Biodun about Cucurella. Yeah.
Cucurella, a very good player. I'm so surprised. He's having an inspired tournament.
And also, he's coming to Chelsea. Biodun, Chelsea. He's already there. Go ahead. Go ahead, Falabi. Yeah. Oh, is Falabi out?
He's frozen.
He's frozen. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Cucurella? He was getting better with Chelsea, but they need to know how to use him. If they don't have the players, it's one of those types of things where you're a good player when you have good players around you. He won't have Rodri and Williams and Yamal, so he's going to have to stick to where he stays. Yeah, what do you think about him? Yeah.
You know, one thing about Cucurella, why he has the pace to overlap coming out is because the opponent, they don't press. If like in the Premier League, if you overlap too much and nobody's there to cover you, you expose yourself. But in this World Cup, he has done very well.
And France doesn't press. France doesn't press. Germany doesn't press. Yeah. You're right.
So that's it. Yeah. I hope you do better in the final.
Because if they press, you can't do that. To be honest with you, I'm afraid of England only because they're lucky. But England should lose this game 2-0. What do you think, Biodun?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Cucurella is someone that I think will play very well under the new Chelsea coach, Enzo Maresca. He likes to use that inverted fullback to come into the midfield. And the way Arteta does with Zinchenko, you see Zinchenko not really playing out wide on the left-hand side. And if you look at the way Spain, that is exactly what Cucurella does. Come to the midfield, go out wide, come to the midfield. So under Maresca, I think you see this consistency of what we've seen in Cucurella in the tournament replicate for Chelsea in the new season.
Okay, so thank you guys. It's almost close to midnight. And this goes to show you. Afolabi's back. So Afolabi, take us out with your last thoughts. But before Afolabi goes, I want to say thank you to our fans in Ghana, Nigeria, UK, and the US. We stayed up till midnight in Nigeria to give you guys what we know you deserve, which is counter narratives in football. We're not going to focus on all this other stuff like Kane who eats Eba. I'm just joking. England is a good team also, but we have to follow something exceptional. This Spanish team has been exceptional. What do you think, Afolabi? Take us out. Yeah,
I agree with you. It's Spain's tournament to lose, really. You know, luck can only take you as far. Spain is by country mile the better team, and I expect them to win on Sunday. The only scenario that will make England win is if they take them to penalties.
So, and that can happen because. So go ahead, because Spain can have shots on goal and they can just miss it by luck. Hit the post, continue. Yeah, sorry.
So it's been wonderful talking and discussing football with you guys again. I thoroughly enjoyed this night's show again. It will be nice doing this again, probably tomorrow or next tomorrow. We need to do a preview of the finals. I don't know when that will be. But
Friday.
Thanks so much.
Friday is today. Friday. It's today on your side.
Okay, so thanks so much for your time. Biondu, it was wonderful. Warif was fantastic. Mustafa, Eva as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys. I love you guys, and I appreciate everything you do. Good night. Okay.
Yeah, good night, guys. Like, share, subscribe, guys.
Yeah, you always remember that. Thank you. Finally. Yeah.